Are you looking to become an instructional designer, but not sure how to gain experience? Well, friends, in today's video, I've got you. I'm going to give you some ways that you can gain instructional design experience without ever having a job. Hey friends, it's Vanessa. I am the founder and CEO of Anchored Training, and on this channel, I help aspiring instructional designers and e-learning developers just like you get off of the sidelines and get into the L&D game. One way you can gain instructional design experience is to actually become an instructional design volunteer. There are organizations out there that are creating content for different nonprofit organizations and for various community initiatives, and they're looking for instructional design. They're looking to create training to create change in the world. They're looking to help those who may not have access to instructional design or training materials, just not in their budget. So some organizations would be Designed by Humanity. So their focus is really on supporting the BIPOC community and creating training to help those with marginalized identities. But actually, I was part of this organization. Our course was all about de-escalating conflict, and we really targeted teachers in that middle school age in a school setting, right? So how do you de-escalate that conflict? And it was something that we all did in the evenings, on the weekends, just on the side work. And it was purely 100% volunteer. We utilized the tool EdApp to create our training. And it was a really great experience and really amazing for those who are new to the field to create portfolio pieces. So whatever you created through Designed by Humanity, you could actually use in your portfolio. Is there anything better, right? You're helping the world and you're gaining a portfolio piece and you're connecting with other people in the instructional design community. So I was probably one of the more senior or seasoned instructional designers. So I really served as the project manager, product owner, and the support for the team from an instructional design standpoint. And everyone chose their role based on what they wanted to learn more about. So I had team members that wanted to dive more into e-learning. They wanted to dive more into storyboarding, things like that. And everyone was able to gain that experience that they needed. Some of them continued with Designed by Humanity, and they're on other projects and they're able to pick up other pieces of projects to gain additional skill. And honestly, the amount of time that it took to volunteer, it was really just a few hours of my time every week. So it really wasn't something that was totally time consuming or anything like that. It really did fit into my busy schedule. There are other organizations that you could look into in order to gain that instructional design experience as well. Some of them include rumie.org, then that's rumie.org, or 247learn.org. Both of those are other organizations that are looking for instructional design volunteers. Now, if you're not really one that has an opportunity to go out and look for an outside volunteer role, another place that you can look is to volunteer to create training for an organization that you currently volunteer with. I'm saying volunteer a lot. For example, I am the president of the Mid-New Jersey ATD chapter. ATD stands for Association for Talent Development. And there are some gaps in our onboarding process. We really don't have one. And there are gaps in training our team and that transition. So this is really, I'm looking at it as an opportunity for me to continue to hone and develop my skill and try different onboarding things that a client has yet to really buy in on. And by creating opportunity through a volunteer organization I'm part of, I'm able to push the envelope. I'm able to try new things, try things I might not normally try in front of a paying client, and able to gain that experience and then take those lessons learned and apply them to my paying clients, right? So really look around. What is an organization that you currently work with, or what's an organization that's local and near and dear to your heart, right? Do you serve on your kids' PTO? Do you serve on a local alumni board? There are so many areas and so many of us get involved locally in all different ways and things like that, that you can really identify an organization that means a lot to you, that needs a little bit of your help. And the nice thing about doing that is that you also get to serve as a subject matter expert. So it takes less of the pressure off of you of working with other subject matter experts and really having to pull all the content. You'll already have a lot of background and knowledge to help facilitate a faster product. That being said, I definitely think you should still take the time to contact other subject matter experts, contact other stakeholders, go through that interview process. Don't just create something based on your own brain. Reason for that is that you want to develop skills around interviewing subject matter experts, working with subject matter experts, going through review processes. So you want to try to make this experience as real life as possible, even though you're going to have a leg up because you're going to know the system or know the processes in and out. Definitely, that's a great place for you to look for, and it kind of creates a little bit more of a safety net. And I think that some of that imposter syndrome definitely kind of goes to the side because you're like, I already know this organization. I know the content. I can create a training. I remember what I didn't know when I started, and now I'm here to pay it forward and create something to help bridge that gap for those that come after me. Another place that you can look to build your instructional design experience is where you work right now. So maybe you're looking to transition into instructional design, or you're just looking to kind of change up your role, right? So you might be more of a coordinator, training coordinator type role, and you actually want to get into instructional design. Look at what's going on around you, right? Look at what needs some improvement from a training standpoint, from a learning and development standpoint, and fill that gap. So for example, back in, 2010, 2011, I went to go work for a home remodeling company. They're a national home remodeling company, and I was the office manager for their sales and marketing office in New Jersey. Their headquarters are in Philadelphia. There were 9 offices up and down the Eastern Seaboard, including headquarters, and we all had various office managers, right? There's 9 of us, actually 10. And we all did things a little bit differently. So when I was trained, I went to HQ for a couple of days, and then I had the Connecticut office manager come down to New Jersey, and she trained me on how she ran things for 2 days, right? Like how she did things. And it was wonderful, and she was really good at her job. But there was no manual, there was no consistency, there was no make sure you're doing this, make sure you're doing that. And a lot of things I just kind of learned over time and repetitive process over time. A couple of things I fumbled, right? Like not having something in the office that I would have known that we needed had I been trained a little bit more thoroughly. Those are things that are all gaps, right? Because we didn't have that consistent training. We didn't have that checklist to say, okay, make sure you go through these things or make sure you do these things as an office manager, right? That role was not really anything training related, and I was still freelancing and doing e-learning development and things like that. And I really thought that HR was going to be like my thing, right? I thought that was really where I was going to end up going, and training was nice, but not my whole being. Then I kind of accidentally fell into going back into training and developing this office management manual and this workflow and these checklists and these products so that we could eventually develop an office manager training. It was just born out of a need, right? I just saw that there was a gap. We didn't have a manual. Everyone did things 75 million different ways. It had to have been confusing and annoying for the people receiving like our HR paperwork or IT receiving our IT requests when everything is done differently. So why wouldn't I create something that is streamlined, and then we can train the current office managers to do things in this way, and we can train new office managers when new offices opened on this process. So people are starting to do things the same way. Plus, we were able to create the opportunity for repeatable training. Nothing got missed, right? Everyone knew exactly what was expected of them. And then all they had to pepper in was like the differences for their specific office, right? Those office culture things. And over time, that little manual, which really wasn't little, it was pretty big, that manual turned into the office manager training and gave me the opportunity to level up in my role, make more money, and go out to Detroit and open up that office and help them with that and train that office manager and really develop what does that onboarding process look like. Now, that company has completely blown up over the years, and office managers aren't even called office managers anymore. And that whole system has changed and developed because of the amazing people that came after me. But I'd like to think that I was like that little spark to start this process. And now they are doing amazing things. So you just never know what it is that little thing that you want to do at your job is going to take you, or what it's going to blow up into. And by me taking that opportunity to create a manual and then create a training, it really created something bigger for myself. And I was able to go out and do training, right? And the really cool thing is that when I left, I trained my intern to take over until they replaced me fully. And I came back like a week or two later to, visit and say hi to everybody. And the guys were like, it literally runs as if you were still here. Like I could close my eyes and be like, oh, Vanessa's still here. Things are still running exactly the same way. That is the dream of really good training. And that's the product of really good training. So look to see what you have at work and what you could improve upon or what you wish you knew on your first day and create a training around that. Lastly, if you want to completely step out of your comfort zone, reach out to a few small businesses that may be in need of training. So small businesses, obviously, they don't have a crap ton of money to put towards training, but they definitely have training needs and likely a lot of training needs. If you can volunteer a few hours of your time to a small business, maybe a local business in your area, to create something for them that is custom for them and fills that need, you're going to want to balance how much work goes into it and the type of training that you create. But if you have a really good relationship with that small business, maybe you could, get some free haircuts, or you can get some free paint or something, or you just did something really good for that small business that's going to help them grow in the future. Now, again, you really want to limit the scope of creating the training for a small business for free, but that is the beauty of you going in and leading as the instructional design consultant. You can sit and fill out the scope and you can say, okay, based on what your need is, I think that these are the 3 things that you're going to need. I can help you with number 1 so you can start moving that needle and chipping away while you work on maybe developing or coming up with the funds to pay for the development of phase 2 and phase 3. Actually, I have to say, I really do think that working with a small business is a really great opportunity for you to practice needs analysis and talking to learners and talking to stakeholders and learning more from the employees what it is that they're looking for. Even though it's pro bono, and even though you're definitely going to want to check out or keep an eye on how much time they are asking of you and really be clear about your role and what the scope of the project is and still put in some sort of contract between the two of you, it's a really great way to step out of your comfort zone, practice analysis, and create a product that can go up on your portfolio, and you can really have a lot of great conversation in an actual interview about. Wait. Before you go out and find a volunteer role to create your next portfolio piece, I want you to stop and I want you to watch this next video. This video is going to walk you through all the things that you need to become an instructional designer in 2022. Friends, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.